Oh, my loves, hope you're doing well after all of this incredibly intense energy. I know some of you may still be in that intensity. Just keep going, keep following your guidance. There's a lot of topics swirling today. The masculine energies, the feminine energies, the sexual energies, the clearing of the protective energies, cosmic alignment energies, and this beginner's mind new energy. So, what I want to do, because it's all just like swirling, I'm going to open up. Whatever comes through will be what you see on the title, on the thumbnail. And I'll just state here I'm open to doing an extended or part two, depending on how the energies unfold. Okay, my loves. So, we're just going to, of course, welcome in the highest, most beneficial messages for those of you here with me. And of course, any of you who are here subscribed to the channel, your energy comes through. Those that are members, you notice that those messages really tend to align with what's going on with you because this all is a co creative process. And so the messages come through to support those of you here with me. And of course, I also trust there's new people finding harmonious hearts. And so your higher self has guided you here for a reason. And we're happy to have you. All right, let's just see what's coming through. Okay, so right out of the gate, I have this Six of Cups and the Hermit card, which is speaking to me. The masculine energy is coming forward in this maturing process. And the Hermit card is speaking to me about how this is happening in the stillness, in the quietness, in the separation energies, in the physical, but clearly happening in the energetics. This is also coming forward as both the masculine and the feminine working with the inner masculine energies, everyone really working with the inner masculine and inner feminine, but this expansion that's coming through. And something specific has been really opening. It's something that I became aware of, I think, around 3, 4 years ago. And it was this idea that both the masculine and feminine felt at home with one another. They never felt more sense of home than when they were together or when they are together. There's just this comfort level that feels, again, like home in a way that neither has ever experienced. And of course, this can create confusion when you go into separation in the physical world. But again, this is where the transformation and the embodiment is taking place. And what was coming through is part of why the separation happens is because both have to go through their transformation phase to expand into who they are so they actually have enough space for themselves to come home in the physical to their own body, which through that process is where they actually create space for one another. And this is the part that was coming through on my most recent member video. The two cards that came through and have been swirling on my mind since then is the Sky Dancer Surrender and the Dances on One Foot. And it hit me because in that video, I didn't mention that they both had dance in the message. And so when we're going into this, what was coming through is really how both the feminine and the masculine are dancing in the energies, right? We talk about how these connections are a dance, and you're learning how to work with the dance of your own internal energies. You're working how to dance and flow with the energies in the connection. And what is coming through at this time is this is part of what is transforming within each. They're each finding their own two legs on the ground. It's like the higher spirit landing into physical form. And this balance is on one foot in a lot of ways is really how both have felt through this process, right? Working with the higher energies and then learning how to embody it and land, learning how to surrender to the higher power, and at the same time, learning how to apply that to day daily life. And so it feels like there is more that wants to open up with this. I do have some messages connected to the cosmic energies around this. I do feel like that wants to open up in a more private video. So that is the energies that we're going to go into a part two extended around this because they're still landing, and we're just going to open it up again in a part two and go deeper in that. For those of you that are interested, I'll post that in the pinned comment or over in the post tab when it's ready. But this, as we're talking about the present, I want to open up just what wants to come through right now with this. Okay, what I will share with you, what I do feel guided to share about the cosmic energies is where this is something that I talked about last year, and then we touched on it recently in some of the member videos, where the masculine higher self was sort of present up on the grand central sun, almost frozen or held captive. And what came to light recently was also that they were frozen out of the cosmic womb energies. So the masculine, and I feel like this is internal and external, has never actually felt able to fully land at home on Earth, which is why both, regardless of the body that you're in, why humans, a part of us, has not felt fully embodied or landed on home because part of our energy was either frozen in through that process of coming into the physical vessel or sort of frozen out. But this feels connected to exactly what we've been working on through this reparation of the internal masculine, the acceptance of the masculine, the releasing of the protective mechanisms. So if this is resonating with you and you've been working with those energies, I'm sure you're in this process, but it wanted to come through in and have you aware of that. Now, I'm very open if it's aligned to recording a session to support whatever opens up with this. I do feel it's important, but I do feel, like I said, it's still unfolding, which is why I'm open. I'll bring forth whatever wants to come through here. But again, if it's aligned, I will do it part two because I do feel these energies are still in process of opening. And that, for those of you who aren't aware, for my member videos or the videos that I share for sale, a lot of times are where some of the energies are opening up in real time. Of course, I do that here as well, but when they're not fully landed and I'm guided, we just kind of dive into those over there in a more private setting because that is what my higher guidance feels is appropriate. Okay, let's go into the sky dancers, dances on one foot. What wants to come through for the masculines and the feminines, internally, externally, whatever is aligned for those of you here with me to know? I just heard the cosmic dance. Okay. And I feel like this, as I say the cosmic dance, this feels to me, especially with the work that I do. Yes, it's about the connections. Yes, it's about the love. Yes, it's about the union, but it's also about that bigger purpose of this process of the inner union, of the sacred union, and how that is supportive for unity consciousness on our planet, and also how our planet Earth aligns with the cosmic higher divine energies in our cosmos, in our universe, in our galaxy, in the quantum energies, in all of that. And this journey, this internal union, this acceptance of yourself, the unconditional love of yourself, learning how to embody and unconditionally love another while simultaneously holding standards and love for yourself. It's that oneness energy, the higher power, the higher energy where nothing is separate, and also our physical experience here on earth where we have come down into individual bodies, and how we can hold the unity consciousness from the oneness and actually coming down into the individual bodies as we individuate into two separate physical beings, while simultaneously learning how to work together, work within ourselves. The inner union supports us in having the template to work together as two physical beings in the physical world, while holding our individuation so that we can hold each of our own unique, beautiful gifts and physicality, honoring that within one another, simultaneously coming together, and then allowing that third energy, that beginner's mind that we ended with in the last YouTube video, to let us learn from one another and lead the way into the new earth, into the new templates, into the new ways of being and doing. Because each of you, masculine, feminine, each of you as the matched pair and the counterparts, you each hold piece of that bigger puzzle. Yes, you are complete beings within each of your own physical vessels. And you also are the counterpoint and counterpart to one another, which allows you to magnify and amplify your experiences both individually and together when you come together, creating that higher, bigger energy of the new. Okay. Like I said, it's the dance of all of the dimensions. It is your physical human experience as well as your higher connection to source, to the cosmos, to all of those dimensions landing down into the earth and deeply embedding and anchoring into the sacred cosmic womb of our universe. Okay, my loves, it's like source, the grand central sun, is the representation of source, of the higher masculine energy. The cosmic womb is the counterpart to source, the sacred feminine, the divine feminine energy that holds the creations. You see, they're both working in tandem always. And we, as physical human forms, are what? We are the microcosm of the macrocosm, my loves. Okay. And so we hold all of it within us. And yet we also hold individual gifts as, like, what I'm seeing right now is like you have a canvas and you have a paintbrush, and each is their own palette of colors, of sounds, of vibrations, yet they also hold the same vibrations and frequencies and palette of colors. When they come together, there's like a harmonization of that, a complementary energy, right? Like we have complementary colors, okay? Like how we have the primary red, yellow, and blue, right? And the red and the yellow makes what? Orange. The yellow and the blue makes what? Green. The red and the blue makes purple. All those complementary colors, right? Orange, green, and purple. And this is just an example of how this energy is reverberated through us and to us, from the highest dimension to the lowest dimension, and everything in between in this process that we're going through, the process of the ascension, the process of the embodiment, the process of accepting ourselves, and the process of accepting one another is how we prepare our physical vessel to be able to hold more deeply the embodiment of these higher unity codes. Okay. And all right. I didn't know we were going to get this deep here, but it really wanted to come through. And so, all right, what wants to come through around this cosmic dance? Okay. So, wow, this is interesting. So, we have the King of Swords. And to me, this is speaking about the masculine energies, period. Internal, external, on our planet, in the process of thawing, in the process of as each of us, regardless of how we identify, acknowledge and accept the masculine energies and allow those to come home to earth, to our bodies. Yes, starting individually first, right? That's why we worked with the reparation of the internal masculine first. And then it was the acceptance of the masculine, right? And so, as we work on the inner energies, then it starts to thaw the outer energies. And we're in this process of allowing the masculine to feel safe to come home to our body, to the place next to us, side by side, right? And allowing these energies to fully land back home, fully in our stream, on the earth, in the cosmic womb, being freed from wherever we're frozen through any of the dimensions. And this feels to me the process that we've already been embarking on. And the more we've been going, the more clarity around what's happening at the larger levels is coming through. Now, what also came through with this King of Swords was the Chariot and the Temperance. Such beautiful energies. So, this feels like as this thawing is occurring, this integration is happening very swiftly for both. Okay. So, this is where you may really start to see the results of the energy you have been pouring in over the last months and years. This feels more long-term results, maybe that you felt like, why I've been working so intense. I'm not seeing the results reflected in comparison to the level that I have been working. And some of that is actually connected to the space where we actually haven't had access to our whole stream or all of our energy to actually receive the results. Okay, my loves, we all need that inner masculine space to be fully online so that we can fully receive. Because as the full masculine energy comes online, what happens to the inner feminine? The inner feminine opens up and has way more space to come online. And this is what I feel is occurring. There's a deepening of the expansion of the internal union energies in process because, again, we've reached a space, we've hit a precipice point where we are stable enough to go to this next level. So I'm really feeling another wave of internal union energies stabilizing, which again, is deepening the sacred union energies, stabilizing in new and deeper ways. And this is why we are being called to hold a beginner's mind, because we are moving into territories that are new for us in this incarnation. I feel much of it is actually deeply a part of our true natural nature. And we're remembering, there's going to be more and more that you're remembering, more and more that's opening. I myself, through this process the last few weeks, as it was able to thaw out some of that core wound information, as that was really thawing and settling and the defense mechanisms were relaxing, I've had more and more in new memories of other lives and other experiences with my divine counterpart. And so there's interestingly, how much we have done, there's so much more to explore and learn. And remember, you're infinite beings. And so, yes, keep working with what you know, keep working with what you learned and what's in front of you, but also know that there's quite a bit more. And what I want to say right now is yes, some of it is going to be more shadow work and uncomfortable, but I'm also feeling a deep excitement of much more of the higher energies, the excitement, the joy, the playfulness, the beauty of these connections coming back in. And this morning, I was sort of getting 26, 27, 28 over these next few years, more of that joy and lightness and playfulness. The temperance energy is going to be coming in. Okay. And so the same way we went down into the shadows, we're going to be coming out into the light, my loves. So we're still sort of dancing and balancing on one foot and in the sky, but we are learning to harmonize both of these. We're beginning to land in both of our feet, in our inner feminine, in our inner masculine. And as we do that, there's more space for that higher power, that higher energy to land. Okay. So just keep dancing, my loves. Just keep dancing. Keep allowing yourself to temper, allow yourself to thaw as it comes up. Yes, I know some of you are going through some intense, exhausted, heavy, emotional times. I see it in the comments and I appreciate all of you who are sharing. And I'm grateful to be able to share these messages with you. And again, I hope what we talked about today, when you can put in perspective the depth of what you are actually doing, can be supportive for understanding that there's even more going on than we're aware of in any given moment. And we feel sometimes like we're really working in these emotional, physical energies, and we are. But there's also all this higher cosmic energy that is also being realigned simultaneously. And as I say that, that feels like the bigger energy that wants to pan out. And in the part two, we're going to go into some deeper messages around that. We're going to see what wants to come through from the higher power, from the cosmic womb, from source, from the higher divine masculine, the higher divine feminine. And also, what's coming to me is to not only go into that, but how is this landing more deeply, or how is it going to be showing up more in the physical world for each of you or as a collective? What are the things we're going to start seeing and experiencing as more and more of this energy is coming forward? I do absolutely feel a quickening of these energies. So it obviously still is in process, but I do have this sense as we build more momentum. Oh, wow. Okay. And then they're reminding me we're exactly what, like exactly 1 month away from the horse, the fire year, the year of the horse, the fire horse coming in. Okay. And it's like, wow, okay, this is making a lot of sense. So, all of this heaviness we've been processing is still connected to that shedding year, the 9 year of the snake, the fire snake. So, we're still going through those rebirthing processes. But as we're really shedding the rest of that, there's a lot of momentum forward with this sacred fire horse energy coming forward as we move into the spring, especially. Now, remember, another big thing that's coming through is I think it's the same exact day that the fire horse enters, we also have an eclipse. Okay. And then we move into like it's a solar eclipse, I believe, on the same day. So you got double fire coming in, right? Massive, big energies. And then a few weeks later, we have that full lunar eclipse on the 33 portal. So, whatever is coming up over this next month, my loves, just be present, Take care of yourself, honor whatever is coming up, and know and remember that yes, you're purging this past year. You're purging with the fire snake. You're purging the last 9 year cycle, but you are also purging decades, eons of information to reconnect you back to your true cosmic and true earth birthright. Okay, my loves, this is really, really big work. Okay. And you're doing beautiful. I'm going to put all my information in the pinned comments. Those sessions of support are available, those recordings for any of you who want to connect with those. And also, of course, I'm available for one on ones. I have some times available next week. And again, we have a lot of support over on my web store for any of you who are interested in those recorded sessions. And I just, again, I'm here, I'm showing up, and we're going to go deeper into the part two for members or for any of you that are interested in receiving that part two as an individual video. I am sending you so much love, beautiful work. Relief, more relief is coming, is what I feel, my loves. More smiles, more joy, more openness are on the way. We just have to get through this this thawing and this landing, this temperance, and allowing things to reharmonize, not just in the physical, but also in the cosmos. Okay, my loves, you're doing beautiful. Great work. See you soon. Take care. Much love. Peace.